Thanks very much for tuning in to Unmissable. You're watching News 9. I'm Nabila Jamal. Take you through news from India and across the globe. I'm going to take you through our top stories tonight. On Deep Dive, first up, we take you through Messi India Tour. The crores of rupees that were spent on that one football celebrity coming down. That shows that India is very much interested in football. But what happens to Indian football? There's zero investment in Indian football, and that's precisely what a footballer has highlighted, sparking a debate. And also today on our top story is Nidhi Agarwal, an actor in Hyderabad who was mobbed. She was there for an audio launch of her film and she was literally mobbed. Absolutely shameful public behavior. We'll take you through those images with our panelists on board to discuss a little at length on India disrespecting public space. Now, also on our top story is Karnataka Chief Ministerial race. You have also Parmeshwara now pitching for the top post. Many top seers who are batting for Parmeshwara, a third player in the game. As always, I start with the headlines first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi conferred the first class of the Order of Oman for strengthening bilateral ties, becoming 29th global leader to receive the prestigious award, welcomed by Sultan Haitham bin Tariq in Muscat during his three-nation tour. In a stormy session, Parliament passed the Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Bill of 2025, triggering angry protests from the opposition MPs over the removal of Mahatma Gandhi's name from the Manrega. Union Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has defended the move, claiming Congress had already added Gandhi's name for political gains during 2009 elections. The Competition Commission of India takes cognizance of a complaint alleging abuse of market dominance by Indigo Airlines amid recent flight disruptions. Regulator to decide on formal investigation under Section 4 of the Competition Act after preliminary assessment. China Eastern Airlines to launch daily flights between Delhi and Shanghai. Operations on Kolkata coming route that is all set to return. Enforcement Directorate raids Unnao-based YouTuber Anurag Vivedi, seizing high-end cars including Lamborghini, BMW, Mercedes, probing illegal earnings from online gambling and betting apps like Sky Exchange. Kerala's electoral roll enumeration phase to conclude by midnight. Draft roll to be published on December 23rd, marking a key step in the state's election preparations. The Kerala High Court has extended the interim protection for suspended Congress MLA Rahul Mamkuttatil in a case relating to the alleged rape of a woman and forcing her to abort her child. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has written to Prime Minister Modi over the crisis facing Tamil Nadu exporters after the US imposed 50% tariff. Stalin says confirmed orders have been cancelled, new orders have dried up. All right, let's take you through our top story here on India and Indian football. Lakhs that India paid for a ticket to watch Lionel Messi. Crores in sponsorship that came in, private money literally that was poured into that event in multiple cities. Government facilitation, government also backed and supported this event. For 3 days, India showed the country that it was so ready to spend on a football name like Lionel Messi. So generously, just to see Lionel Messi up close, not even a game. Well, the GOAT tour sold out completely. Stadiums were fully packed. The appetite for football in India is undeniable. So the big question comes down to then what happens to Indian football? If we're so willing to go and watch, get a glimpse of Lionel Messi just standing in the stadium, why aren't we willing to invest in Indian football? When Indians are willing to pay this much, why is Indian football struggling to barely survive? And that's exactly the question that's come from within the football fraternity itself in India. India defender Sandesh Jhingan, in a blunt Instagram post, has called out the priorities of Indian football stakeholders. He's written that the Messi Tour proves that we love the sport, but perhaps not enough to support our own players. He says it so clearly. He's one amongst them. And he says with a lot of emotion that there is no attention to Indian football. Why? Despite us having the appetite. The country loves football, but there's no investment in the game. His warning was stark. Indian football, he says, is close to having no active domestic season at all. Clubs are shutting down. Players are unsure of contracts. There is, in his own words, no willingness to invest. The numbers back his anxiety as well. India's men's team is now ranked at 133. Imagine, that's the ranking, 133 in the world, the lowest in 9 years that Indian football has been. And while private money flows easily for global icons like Messi, domestic football is running on fumes. The All India Football Federation received 30 crores from the government in 2022-23. That has dropped now to 14 crores. This year, it's just 8.78 crores. So from 30 crores to 14 crores to now 8 crores. That's all Indian football has got. Khelo India has 1,000 crores outlay, but indirect benefits don't keep leagues alive or players paid. Now, what Indian football needs isn't spectacle anymore. It needs basics, stable leagues, youth systems, coaches, medical support, a reliable calendar. These investments aren't glamorous, of course. They don't trend on Instagram, but without this kind of investment and commitment, no amount of star power will fix the crisis. Lionel Messi can come and go. People might celebrate global footballers as much as they want to, but Indian football will see a slow death if there is no commitment towards the Indian football team. India already has a blueprint. Cricket showed how structure builds success. Fans are here, money is here. What's really missing is commitment to Indian football itself. We have joining us Dr. Shaji Prabhakaran, Executive Committee Member, Asian Football Confederation and South Asian Football Federation. We also have Jaideep Basu, Senior Sports Journalist. Thanks both of you for joining us. Dr. Shaji, tell us a little more on Indian football and its slow death. I might be sounding harsh, but that's the fact. What's happening? Why do we see this stark contrast? People dying and rushing, paying crores in sponsorship, and people willing to pay lakhs in tickets to watch Lionel Messi. He's not even playing a game, just to watch him. But when it comes to Indian football, there's zero investment commitment. Why?
I think we should not blame anyone for this situation. For market is not investing into Indian football. It's people are investing in the brand. That is what we have to understand. We should not think that people are not interested in investing in football. But the challenge is that we are not able to put the right structure for the brands to come in, and for them it is about getting the right value out of investment. And the moment we will be able to provide that value to the brands, it will come, because as you said, there is everything there in India. The money is there, the brands are there, there's a lot of interest, and the Messi's got India tour has demonstrated there's money for football. But then what it requires is the right kind of structure, and where there is value proposition from that engagement that comes out. Until that comes, we will be discussing, why people are not putting money. It is not about emotion. It is not about passion, the investment, right? It is about business. And if there is a business opportunity, there is a strong case.
Why is there no business? Why, in your view, is there no? Why aren't they seeing business opportunities? We've seen how investment into cricket has brought them returns, and football is a game that you have takers through the length and breadth of the country. It's just that, imagine if Indian football team rose up the ranks. Imagine the kind of business that they would get. But for the Indian football team to get there, you need a little investment in their infrastructure, right?
No, absolutely. See, you are right. When we talk about cricket, there is huge investment. There is, We know what has IPL has done. How it has changed the landscape of global cricket in terms of what IPL has done. Football definitely has the potential, no doubt. Yeah, but then as you understand, people understand who are in the business of football in India, they are losing money, big money. If you ask all the clubs, are they recovering? No, absolutely not. In last 15 years, more than 6,000 crores have been pumped into Indian football. And the return has not been that something which, they all are struggling. And that's a harsh reality. And we have to do a lot. We have to strengthen our foundation. We have to do the right thing. And definitely money will come and people love the game. We have seen last 1 week, people love this game. What we need is the right combination and the right structure, and we will get there. And what Sandesh Jhingan is saying is absolutely not wrong. Yeah, he as a player right now, all the players doesn't know, where their next dollar will come because there is no league right now. Maybe in few weeks time, in few days time, will be solution, and maybe that would set foundation for future. But then we all have to discuss constructively what we all can do, come together. A teamwork is required.
No, but where is football really struggling? We hear that FIFA was not even willing to negotiate with India. Indian football has been, in doldrums for a few years now because of not having the right infrastructure. The FIFA body has also flagged this off multiple times, and then the Indian Football Committee itself had so many fights within its organization in terms of elections and whatnot. Oh my God, it was so ugly that FIFA said, fix your damn committee and your association, only then will we allow you to play the game. What an embarrassment, right? So those kind of things. Internally itself, there's so much conflict. Nobody's willing to actually invest in the game itself. Everyone wants to be on top of they want to hold a powerful chair within the committee, but not work for the upliftment of the game. That's what we've seen extensively. So FIFA itself embarrassing Indian football multiple occasions. Jaideep Basu, would you want to elaborate on that? The infighting within the football associations has left us globally embarrassed. And today we rank 133rd.
Yeah, first of all, let me tell you, India is not ranked 133rd. India is ranked 142, even worse than what you are saying at the moment. It is one of the, as you said, it is one of the lowest ranking ever in the last maybe, ever since I think 2015, in the last 10 years. That is true. And I don't think it will be right to say that FIFA has warned India or globally shamed India on what has gone. It's not exactly that, but Indian football has shamed itself so much in the last 2 years. So I don't think I see that any prospect of people coming up and spending money on Indian football. See, what Sandesh has said is absolutely right. This money could have been spent on football. Actually, this money could have been spent on so many other good things. Maybe spent on, say, charitable hospital, on education, on feeding undernourished children, which is in thousands in India.
Let's keep all of that secondary. Entertainment is entertainment. We won't mix that with charity. Okay, let's keep that separate. But when there is so much appetite to watch a Messi come down, he's not even playing a game. You're just seeing him make that one kick. And hobnob with actors and politicians and take selfies with him. People are willing to pay 9 lakhs. We hear just for a selfie with Messi, people were willing to pay up to 9 lakhs. And they showed up, paid that money, got a selfie with Messi.
Tell me one thing. Do you really feel that those who came to pay money for Messi and were dishing out rather indecent amount to have a glimpse of Messi are basically football fans, or they are Messi fans? Had Messi been playing tennis or any other sport and then risen to this level, because he's a larger than life figure. He's one of world's greatest sportsmen. It doesn't matter which game he played. So I'm not again saying that Indians are not interested in football. They are interested in football. And when Sandesh is talking about spending money, about getting that money for football, for Indian football, you have to also understand the thing that sponsorship, there are two kinds of sponsorship. One is a visible sponsorship and one is a silent sponsorship. Silent sponsors, they don't wait for the return, they just pay the money for the development of the game. And visible sponsors always want something in return, which is very right. There is nothing wrong in it. But the number of visible sponsors is always much higher than the invisible sponsors or the silent sponsors. So to earn some sponsorship, to earn that money to coming to you, you have to do something. We are talking about cricket, that cricket is huge sponsor, but cricket had no money before 1983. When Kapil Dev and his boys, there were 14 great boys of the team, they won the World Cup for India. Then only people started spending money on cricket. Cricket started getting money. Before that, they had no money. Even after the 83 World Cup, when India won, the BCCI had to struggle to organize a felicitation program. They have to ask Lata Mangeshkar to hold a night so that money can be distributed among the cricketers who won the World Cup. So at the moment, Indian football is at such low. The All India Football Federation is in such shambles, and the national team is playing so badly. If you lose to Bangladesh, if you lose to Singapore, you want people to come and spend money of you? No. The sponsorship will only come, the money will be only spent on you when you achieve something, then it will come to you.
No, so
Messi,
what
why
are you
so much
saying, that
money has
all
been
the
spent on Messi?
responsibility to rise up the rank is on the players itself? Do players have enough
Not on the players,
infrastructure?
no,
Do they have
not at all.
equipment? Do they have
Not at all.
help?
Not at all on the players. It is the responsibility. It is the governance responsibility. It is the responsibility of the All India Football Federation. They are in such a poor state of affairs.
Why?
We see
Why,
such.
sir?
See, you have to spend the entire night discussing
No, not
this.
at all. In a nutshell, you tell us, why is the All India Football Federation in shambles?
Because it is in bad hands. That's the reason. It's been managed by people who shouldn't be there. There should be a better set of people there. Because who are running the show at the moment? Mr. Kalyan Chaubey is the president and his executive committee. They are not capable of running the show, which has been proved in the last 3 years. So I don't want to say anything more than that. They are simply there. It is in shambles, and they have not found a sponsor for the ISL, Indian Super League, not for the I League, not for the I League 2, not for I League 3. Even now I hear even their Indian Women's League sponsors are going away. So there must be something wrong back there within the association or the federation, that people who were willing to pay till now.
Kalyan Chaubey is the AIFF president. Why is he not voted out then, if he hasn't performed?
He has to be voted out. If you have to vote it out, you have to allow him to complete his 4-year term. He is a democratically elected president. He cannot be voted out like that.
So before him, the previous presidents and officials of the AIFF have performed better. Are you saying that just under Kalyan Chaubey's tenure, it has turned to its head?
Looking at Kalyan Chaubey's tenure, anyone who has served the AIFF since its inception in 1937 has done better. He's no benchmark, actually. No, he's by far, in my opinion, is probably the worst president in the history of the AIFF.
Dr. Shaji, would you want to comment on that? The sports journalist has declared him the worst president that AIFF has ever seen. And this is the lowest ranking for Indian football that we've ever seen. In your view, if there's a leadership change, the game will pick up?
No, absolutely. What I have to say is that I don't want to go to an individual, as such. But then, right now, the reputation, the credibility of the organization is at all-time low, and that has an impact. And that's where the brands stay away, and that's where the sponsorship is not happening, and that is where we could not we are struggling, absolutely. So, therefore, definitely the governance is one of the biggest point right now. I don't want to, name people, but then this is one of the lowest points. No doubt. We have never struggled. We have never struggled like this in all since 1937. Yeah, that's a fact, and that is where people who have the power should think and support the right thing to happen. And right thing to happen is you need to put the house in order. The governance has to be in the right hand, and that would encourage people to join hands. Yeah, and in any way, as Jaideep mentioned, there are sponsors who wants to come forward when if there is reputation is positive, yeah, and they don't want return, but they want to support the game. But right now, they are not encouraged to come forward and put the money, and that is the biggest problem for us, and that is all because there is reputationally we are at in a bad shape, yeah, and the perception is very poor. And
When Messi came down, there was such hue and cry about him coming down, and and the way he was glorified. Sunil Chhetri, our star player of Indian football, he does not get that kind of attention or glorification. Why do you believe, sir? Jaideep, would you want to tell us? Our Indian players are not even glorified enough. Indian football players. Sunil Chhetri is probably the one that is still known. The rest of them have not even made it.
See, what it happens when somebody comes to India who has captained a team to the World Cup winning trophy, and a captain of a team which is one. I'm not undermining Sunil. I know Sunil from the age of 12. I know Sunil, so Sunil is very dear and near to me. But the thing is that Indian football is at 142. So we can no way and Messi is one of the all-time greatest players. Even after Pele and Maradona, I think he's the greatest player still is currently considered. So there is no comparison between Sunil and Messi. But I would also like to point out at the same breath, when Sunil retired from international football in Calcutta in last year, there was 70,000 people that night to watch the last match of Sunil Chhetri. He received adult.
Yeah, he had all the admiration, no doubt. Baichung Bhutia also one of the footballers that really, caught the attention of the country.
So, but we can't compare him with Messi. That's
no, but see, we can have a Messi-like star in India if only we invested in the infrastructure, right? Like, look at Virat Kohli. Look at the amount that is invested in Indian cricket. Virat Kohli right now is looked at as the top batsman in the world. You have Australian parents trying to show photographs and videos of Virat Kohli saying, look at that man, he is the top batsman in the world. That's the kind of honor that Virat Kohli holds, and the image that he has wherever he travels. So, we might, ghar ki murgi dal barabar. Virat is he is Indian, so we don't glorify him as much. But Virat is celebrated in countries like Australia.
Yeah, certainly it is. Only thing, cricket is played by a limited number of countries, so his fame has not really gone into. But football is a sport where FIFA membership itself is 210, which is, I think, more than the United Nations membership. So, because football is a much more accepted sport than cricket.
So this is exactly where we should be then. If India needs to shine, then this is the game that we should be part of. This is the game we should be acing. Much over.
Yeah, but we also have our heroes, like we have Neeraj Chopra. He's an Olympic champion in athletics, which is a huge sports all over the world. So we have our heroes.
No, I'm not denying that. All I'm saying is when there is appetite for football, when you have states like West Bengal, Kolkata, when you have the Northeast, who's crazy after football, when you have Kerala, who people in Kerala don't even, they're very disciplined with playing a game and then going to have their dinner, or playing a game and then going for breakfast. That's how committed they are to the local clubs there. Football is huge in states like Kerala, West Bengal, and few northeastern states. So when we have the appetite, why aren't we pushing for it? That's my only question.
Ma'am, the thing is that football by far is the most popular sport in the world, and every country wants to do well in it. You look at Senegal. In 100 years of Olympic history, Senegal has won only one medal, a silver in some rowing or equestrian or somewhere they have won. But Senegal is a country, small country, poor country, but they excelled so much in football, they reached the quarterfinals of World Cup at one point of time. So the thing is that we see, even the smallest of nation in the world, they want to excel in football. It's a very competitive sport. But of course, as you say, India can do it. If there is a will, there is a way.
Give me one solution. How can India achieve a higher ranking? A quick solution how India can achieve a higher ranking.
I will rather tell Saji to talk about it because he is a top administrator. He should be able to tell
Dr. Shaji, a final word from you before I wrap.
No, it's a very good question. We definitely have the potential to rise. And for that, we have to be very committed. We need committed people. We have to bring everyone together into one platform, and we can change the game. And our ranking can go up. This 2023 July we were 99, and now 142. So that shows that we can definitely go up, provided we have the right approach, right strategy, and a teamwork. Because we have the talent, we have the players. Yeah, and in 10 years, 12 years, definitely we can show to the world India is one of the biggest footballing nations in terms of performance, in terms of the quality of players, and we can definitely showcase to the world India can also play football. But that to happen, we definitely need to work together as one team.
Thanks very much, Dr. Shaji and Mr. Jaydev Basu for joining us with this much-needed topic. A quick break on that note. We'll be right back on the other side on some shameful visuals that's coming from Hyderabad on how an actress, Nidhi Agarwal, was mobbed by a huge crowd. And thankful to the bouncers there, they managed to bring her safe into the car. If they weren't there, I can only imagine what would have happened. Stay with us for a lot more.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा से लोन लेना एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक है।
मेरी बेटी के अभी से बाल झड़ रहे हैं, मैं क्या करूं?
2 स्पून ही काफी है। लायन डेट सिरप, इसमें आयरन, फाइबर्स, विटामिन्स और किसी भी बीमारी से लड़ने की ताकत बहुत ज्यादा है। आयरन यानी बाल झड़ने से रोकथाम। रोजाना 2 स्पून लायन डेट सिरप हल्के गर्म दूध में भी मिलाकर पी सकते हैं। लायन डेट सिरप रोजाना 2 स्पून।
Okay, 2026, take notes. Manifesting. More bubbles, less troubles. For my little Miss Sunshine, tickles and giggles. Also want to be a biker chick this time. Allah, Messi. And dear 2026, only love for my people and myself. To manifest my best life, nature's cosmic energy. Now mine, natural diamond intention pendants.
पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपस अश्योरेंस। 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
सामने नया सुपरमार्केट खुलने वाला है। क्या करूं कि पुराने कस्टमर भी रहें और नए भी आ जाएं?
देखो, आप दुकान के बाहर एक चाय कॉर्नर लगा सकते हो। चाय पीते पीते पुराने कस्टमर बातचीत करेंगे, उन्हें देखकर नए कस्टमर भी आएंगे और एक्स्ट्रा कमाई भी होगी। इसके अलावा आपके बिल्स देख के समझ लेते हैं कि कौन सा सामान कितना बिका है।
Our honorary speaker, Rupa Kudva, whose journey across the boardrooms and as Chief Executive Officer of CRISIL has steered innovation. Her book, Leadership Beyond the Playbook, has established her as the country's foremost business leader. Eastern India's first Business and Economy Literature Fest 2025. 20th and 21st of December, Taj Tal Kutir, Kolkata.
Presented by EIILM Kolkata. Associate sponsor, Bama Lorry, Mukhorochuk, Alliance Broadband, Priyagopal Bishoi, and ChatGPT.
Welcome back. Well, tonight the country has witnessed some really disturbing visuals. Visuals that came in a little early today that really disturbed us, of an actress being mobbed and touched by a crowd that calls itself her fans. The footage is very uncomfortable, and that's what we're playing for you on our screens here. It's unsavory and forces us to confront an ugly question about public behavior in India. Where does admiration end and harassment begin? Here, this actor, who was part of her own song launch at a mall, was literally mobbed, her clothes practically torn apart. If not for the bouncers there, I can only imagine what would have happened to her. We hang our heads in shame for what happened with Nidhi Agarwal. It's shocking that the mall authorities allowed this kind of mob to get so dangerously close to her. The film producers or whoever it is who arranged for security did an absolute shoddy job. She was touched and felt inappropriately by many men there. In fact, it was mostly practically only men who were present there who came to watch that. That was fine, but where was the security? This happened at Lulu Mall in Hyderabad during a song launch event for Sahana Sahana from Nidhi Agarwal's upcoming film Raja Saab. The film stars, in fact, Prabhas and Malvika Mohanan, and the event was attended by Nidhi Agarwal, co-actor Riddhi Kumar, director Maruti, producer T.G. Vishwa Prasad, and music composer Thaman. Now, all of them were there, but Nidhi, while she was exiting, there were two bouncers only, or maybe even one, who was escorting her out amidst that heavy crowd. And that's what happened to her. She was touched inappropriately by multiple people, and a case has now been filed against Lulu Mall authorities. In fact, the film's promotion was scheduled for 5 p.m. but was delayed by a few hours. By then, a massive crowd had already gathered outside and inside the mall. There was no filtration, there was no restrictions. Nidhi Agarwal tried to leave after the event, and she was surrounded by the frenzied crowd, desperate for selfies with her. You know, as if like she's public property. That's mostly the sentiment there. As much as we see the crowds trying to barge into her personal space while she was trying to walk, despite the bouncers trying to maintain peace and asking for people to step away, step aside, allow her passage to walk out. People were pushing and pulling and touching her at every given opportunity they found. Such a shame. Her clothes were torn. Visuals show the visibly shaken actress, fully distressed and frightened. Her team desperately tried to shield her. They managed to get her into the car. But now these videos are viral, and this really leaves us with some really uncomfortable questions on the way people here in our country behave when they see a film star. You know, it's clear that they believe and strongly believe that if you're a woman and if you're on a public platform, if you're an actor and you're basically up for being friendly, that they could touch you and do what they want, comes dangerously close to you because you are public property. If that's the sentiment, then we really must hang our heads in shame. Authorities say that there was no official security arrangements, not enough. Crowd control itself was poorly planned, and therefore Lulu Mall authorities have been booked. This is not an isolated incident. You remember multiple cases like this have happened, like for example, Pushpa 2's release, Allu Arjun's event, where a stampede happened there, zero crowd management at that point. And in Sandhya Theatre, a mother and child were caught in the middle of the crowds. In fact, the lady passed away as well. And multiple cases like this that have happened, which exposes how poorly our public events are planned. Let's quickly bring in our guests for a little more on what we really are seeing with this video here, and what should we say at this point. Asha Jomis, social activist. We also have K.S. Prasad, activist and journalist from Hyderabad, and Cynthia Stephen, independent research and journalist, gender and development policy analyst. Thanks very much, all of you, for joining us. Asha Jomis, your take. I'm just at a loss of words as to what to say. You know, people think that an actor is a public property, especially an actress. They pile on. And I can only see men. At every inch of that video there, you can see only men there trying to push and shove and touch her as far as they can, right? And this girl was so distressed is seen jumping into the car, and her clothes are torn. I'm just so shocked, and I'm in loss of words. How would you view a situation like this? Is it only about poor crowd management, or a lot more to do with our behavior as a society?
Definitely, it has to do with the crowd management, which the authorities have clearly failed. The mall people, especially Lulu Mall, which is one of the largest chains of malls in India, and run by MA Yusuf Ali. I'm pretty sure he'll be watching this news from wherever he is today. He's based in Dubai, I guess, and he would know that this kind of an incident would have serious legal consequences if it was in the Middle East, especially such disrespect being shown at a woman. But in India, we can always break the law. If you look at the article, news reports, the mall authorities did not have the permission to do such events. So it is not just about looking at this one particular incident. I think the police and the authorities should look into all the events that has happened in Lulu Mall and look into whether they were done with prior permission, because I think it would be really impossible to get permission to do such huge events involving huge crowds in such closed enclosures and places like malls. So I think what the people would do is they would do the events without the legal permission, and if nothing happens, it's all good and fine. They might bribe the authorities, and in case if something goes wrong, fortunately she's safe at this point, but definitely at that point she was not safe. And we've also seen the Pushpa incidents that you really mentioned in the beginning of the debate. One woman lost her life, and I think Allu Arjun was booked for her death, but no legal consequences whatsoever for anybody. So we are setting a precedent and letting the authorities, the mall authorities, the event organizers know that, even if something bad happens, nobody is going to be legally...
very casual attitude.
Very casual. So I think the police and the authorities should look into all the events that has happened in malls, and if those events have got the licenses, and if not, I think an inquiry should come into how these events happen without getting these licenses. And about crowd management, I think it's a huge topic. We cannot teach all the men to behave properly, respect women. Of course, we are doing that in schools. Unfortunately, it's not being reflected in our society and in our real life.
Right. Cynthia Stephen, if you can come in on this, on how do you view this video here that surfaced? It's come in early today, and it's really left me shocked to see a woman like that, so disturbed and disgusted, and she jumps into her car, and then her clothes are torn. And people there, the men there who were trying to take a selfie with her, know very well that she's uncomfortable. She's trying to run away. She does not want to take a selfie, but they try to pile on and, push as much as possible to get to her. What does it speak of as a society? What does it speak of us as a society?
Before I go into that, if I may say so, it's also, this is to be utterly condemned, no doubt about it. At all levels, and whether it is the producers, the PR agency which failed in its duty, the mall authorities which failed in their duties. I think the most important thing is now they're running this, they're running this video on loop without even blurring anything, is also kind of promoting voyeurism, if I may say so. And it has always disturbed me. And I wish, I'm cringing as I keep on seeing these videos, on loop. And I wish, even the media restrained itself from showing such material on loop without blurring at least the face and, what is essential to be blurred. I think so. At all levels, these kind of behaviors by institutions have to be condemned. One. Secondly, I think there is a larger picture here that I'd like to bring in. If you know, we've just this few days ago had a case in Kerala which had been running for 8 years, where an actress was, somebody was hired to sexually assault an actress. And the conspiracy was allegedly not proved. And so the chief conspirator was
let off. Yeah.
Off. And the fact is that the fans have supported the alleged conspirator. In Karnataka, we have another case where a very famous actor.
Yeah. We know what you're saying. Darshan, who's right now in jail, and his film is being celebrated even before the trial of his.
Yeah, they do this on the strength of the power of the fans. What is our film and media industry doing in objectifying women? That is the larger question I would like to raise. And so I think we all need to, all of us need to go back and think about, at all levels, we need to wonder how this kind of the films, which are a very popular and powerful medium, how are they contributing really to society, or are they contributing to our baser instincts, especially the male versus female situation? I think this is the redeeming feature in Kerala is that a large section of society are also standing with the survivor, and they're also standing against,
No, there are two types of people in the society as well. Like you said, there are people who are who glorify crimes if they are a superstar.
And I think the mass is beginning to shift away from being decent and able to handle our emotions and give respect to each other, to becoming mobs without raging mobs.
What I see here is that we as Indians are hero worshippers. We are hero worshippers. When I say hero worshippers, we love film stars. We love an icon. We love to see someone who we aspire to be. But men usually find their way out easily. They are not intimidated in crowds like this, and they have bigger security personnel, larger teams to ensure their safety. But this girl, Nidhi Agarwal, is not the lead actor in the film. She's part of the film, and this song that was launched was her song. But from what I see there was only one bodyguard who escorted her out. Only one bodyguard who escorted her out in the middle of that heavy crowd. And that's the disparity I'm seeing there. If it was a male superstar, if Prabhas was there, it's his film. If Prabhas was there, imagine the number of security personnel who would be surrounding him before he's escorted out. K.S. Prasad?
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening to the viewers and good evening to the panelists. I'm really sorry to be a part of this. You are just like my sisters and mothers, and I'm really saying sorry on behalf of every male fraternity. This is really a ridiculous situation for a woman where we need to respect and we need to protect them. Instead of that, what we have done today, on behalf of everybody, I'm saying sorry. It is really, in situations like in a mall and all, if somebody lets to do these sort of film activities, and we are quite aware of that. As Chitra ma'am said very clearly, I respect her and the concern what she has expressed towards woman fraternity. And to be at my point, it is our duty to respect women, but unfortunately it is not happening because of illiteracy and in the film mania. And people are so, they are living in a different trance, as if they take some sort of selfie with a heroine, as if they interpret themselves as a hero. That's how the pathetic situation is. And in this particular scenario, particularly Nidhi Agarwal and all, and it is her minimum duty to take care of with her own bouncers, rather than letting everybody to jump on her head and invite these sort of situations. And quite unfortunately, and in this sort of malls, I don't know how the people have got these sort of permissions. And more particularly following, as you said very clearly, ma'am, the person like Prabhas and Mahesh Babu and Chiranjeevi and all the prominent heroes in Telugu industry, if their events takes place, obviously they take care of with their security, with their own bouncers and as well as with their own security.
The film production unit and the makers of the film don't allot a bouncer to their female stars?
Obviously, we are in India, ma'am. You need to understand one thing, that how women fraternity has been treated by useless males.
No. What I do know is that the men always get it. The men ask and they get it. Do the women get it when they ask?
No. That's what I'm expressing. As a woman, I'll always
so
say
we're seeing discrimination even by the makers of the film. They won't give enough security to the woman. They'll give a better security to the man, despite the woman being more vulnerable. Miss Cynthia?
Ma'am, they'll always crawl for their publicity. Ma'am, just give me a last submission. They'll always crawl for their publicity. This event, as it has happened, it is they use for their publicity purpose. This is all the hype they create. This is what cinema fraternity. That we need to understand. Here we are all focusing on Nidhi Agarwal being a woman. She's not given a proper security and all. That's what your concern, Chitra ma'am's concern. And the ma'am's concern is very clear. But quite unfortunately, it is our primary courtesy to give protection for them. Where is police? They have been not informed. In a small mall, if police is been informed in the nearest police station like Kukutpalli, they would not even let this to happen. Because it's a cinema, particularly Prabhas Pictures event, they know pretty well what sort of crowd will turn. And if you really recollect the incident of Pushpa 2, where the hero is going for that movie, what sort of mob is being gathered? These are all quite evidential situations for the respect to police, even after they've been driving with a still helpless situation.
Correct.
Unfortunately, we all will say that police needs to give protection and all. Until then they are not informed, how can they?
So basically, mall authorities to be blamed, and even the film production, the makers also have responsibility to take permission or no?
Ma'am, whether they take permission or not, they'll take a small excuse that we are not anticipated this sort of crowd. We know pretty well in Kukatpalli, what is the Forum Mall and what is the Lulu Mall. Everybody knows what sort of crowd comes. These are quite eventual situations and we are aware of it. Unfortunately, these people have fallen on my head. What we can do?
No, what a shame. What a shame. You know, so basically there's no proper safeguards, no rules that are implemented so such kind of situations could be avoided. And on the contrary, we have no shame as a society. We have no shame. These are men who are all part of the same society we are part of. And they think that a woman who's part of a film is easy and they can very well touch her the way they want to. They can get as close to her the way they want to. That's the mentality, and that's what I'm disgusted by. That people and men.
I'm sorry
in that video there.
Here?
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, ma'am, I'll tell you small
Cynthia had something to say.
If it happens to my sister and my mother, obviously, the reactive mode of a male fraternity is totally different. But it happens with somebody else, just like what I said, like, I'm sorry, this shouldn't happen. And these sort of excuses I've been giving it. For
Cynthia,
all which,
what do you have to say? I have barely a minute left.
Yeah, I'm extremely shocked that Prasad would say that it's her lookout and she has to look after her own security. Who organized the program? It was not she. It was the producers who are doing it for their publicity. And then anyone would want their clothes to be torn apart in public. It's the responsibility of the organizer. I am shocked that Mr. Prasad is saying that it is her lookout. She has to bring her own security. This is just not the way. I mean, this is a dismissive way, no respect. Anything could have happened to her in the public place. Who would you hold responsible if there are 100 men surrounding her and crushing her? This is
all right. No, I'm not saying about dressing.
Sorry, I cannot accept this kind of offhand answer.
No, Chitra ma'am, I have not said about
totally
dressing.
Irresponsible.
I said very clearly, the heroes are concerned, they'll take care of their own protection. The same way they need to take. No, Chitra ma'am,
but Mr. Prasad saying that we are in India, women need to be doubly careful is not really the way we want to move forward. We want better accountability. We want the filmmakers to be accountable. They must provide security, and we must ensure mall authorities must take permission. They must provide security. We are not going to normalize this. That's the end take here. We're not normalizing it. We're placing accountability, and accountability lies on the filmmakers of that film for not giving adequate security to their actress, and for the mall authorities for not anticipating the crowds, not having proper permission or security guards in place at that point. But my heart going out to Nidhi Agarwal for enduring what she did, and let's hope this is the last. Thanks very much, all of you, for joining us. That's all I have time for. All right, let's quickly cut across to all our top stories on day tonight. Delhi pollution. A high-profile international cricket match has been called off because of dense fog in North India. The fourth T20 between India and South Africa at Lucknow's Ekana Stadium was abandoned last night after visibility dropped sharply. Officials called off the game around 9:30 p.m., leaving thousands of fans disappointed and waiting for hours. The cancellation has put focus now on winter pollution and fog in North India and its impact on outdoor sports. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor said the BCCI now should reconsider hosting winter matches in South India instead, particularly Kerala. He took this opportunity, seized the moment, and while he was in Parliament, right beside the BCCI chief, Rajiv, he decided to ask him this very pertinent question. Why not move cricket matches to South India until pollution clears? Have a listen.
My concern is that, between the middle of December and the middle of January, every place in North India is subject to fog. And you know perfectly well that when the fog is like this, at this time of year, it becomes impossible for cricketers to even see the ball. So yesterday, the whole nation was frustrated that we couldn't have the match between South Africa and India. And so my argument very simply is, during this period, schedule the matches in South India. My Thiruvananthapuram has a wonderful stadium. We are very ready to host people. Come and play. In fact, the women's team is going to be playing in Thiruvananthapuram in the last days of the year. We should urge BCCI to take the weather conditions into account when scheduling.
Shashi Tharoor citing air quality across North India. He says that in many cities, including Delhi, it's crossed 400, while Thiruvananthapuram AQI is around 68. He says fog and pollution make play unsafe and unfair for players and fans. BCCI Vice President Rajiv Shukla said venues are allotted under a rotation policy and fog affects much of North India, but added that the board would review the issue. Well, you also have Samajwadi Party chief, meanwhile Akhilesh Yadav blaming pollution drifting from Delhi for the conditions in Lucknow, saying that's the reason why the Lucknow match was cancelled. Well, we're going to see if the BCCI really takes the suggestion given by Shashi Tharoor and moves the match to South India. All right, now, India-Bangladesh relations have hit an all-time low. Extremist groups have taken to the streets in Dhaka and other Bangladeshi cities, openly protesting against India and condemning New Delhi for giving shelter to ousted former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Demonstrations have been held close to the Indian High Commission, raising serious security concerns for Indian diplomatic staff. These protests have now spilled beyond rhetoric. In Rajshahi, a march was organized by a group called July 36 Mancha, which began from Bhadramore area and attempted to move towards the Indian Assistant High Commission. Similar mobilization was also seen in Khulna. In the capital Dhaka, police were forced to step in and stop protesters marching towards the Indian High Commission in the Gulshan area. Protesters there, extremists, are demanding the return of Sheikh Hasina, who fled to India last year's July uprising. Since then to now, she's been in India. And they're angry with India that India is shielding her. Amid this escalation, India has taken decisive steps. Two Indian visa application centers in Bangladesh, in Khulna and Rajshahi, have been shut due to security concerns. Officials say that visa services in Dhaka have resumed though, but operations remain under close watch. New Delhi has also sent a strong diplomatic signal. The Ministry of External Affairs has summoned Bangladesh's High Commissioner Riaz Hamidullah and lodged a formal protest over the deteriorating security situation. India has underlined its expectation that the interim government in Dhaka must ensure the safety of Indian missions in line with international diplomatic obligations. Sources say that the one key trigger was a controversy speech, in fact, that was made by National Citizen Party leader Hasnat Abdullah, who claimed that Bangladesh could shelter separatist forces targeting India's northeast. That a statement New Delhi says has been deeply provocative. A horrifying murder that surfaced from Ghaziabad's Rajnagar extension, where a rent dispute ended up in cold-blooded murder. A woman murdered inside her own flat that she had rented out. The incident occurred yesterday at Aura's Chimera Housing Society. The victim has been identified as Deepshika Sharma, who lived in the same society with her husband. She went to meet her tenants to collect rent, and Ajay Gupta and his wife Akriti Gupta have allegedly murdered the landlord and tried to hide all evidence. Investigators allege that Deepshika was first struck by these two. You see the visuals on our screens. These are two people who allegedly murdered her. They struck her on the head with a pressure cooker. She was then strangled using a dupatta, killing her instantly. Her body was later stuffed into a suitcase. And they very casually admitted to the whole crime when the police barged into their home after suspicion by the landlord's maid. Deepshika's maid grew suspicious after she failed to return. When the maid went to the flat, the accused allegedly claimed that Deepshika had already left with 90,000 rupees. But she flagged off. Our CCTV footage did not show the landlord leaving at all. So she alerted the police, and Ajay and Akriti, both the tenants, have been arrested. And Deepshika lived, we hear, with her husband, and this rental dispute eventually led to her murder. Now, the chatter around Karnataka Chief Minister's change does not seem to die. Just a week after DK Shivkumar kept a dinner meet with many MLAs in attendance, Senior Minister Satish Jarkioli, considered close to Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, hosted a dinner meeting of what he called like-minded legislators during the winter session. Sources say over 30 Congress MLAs attended the closed-door dinner at a private hotel. Among them were MLC Yatindra Siddaramaiah, the Chief Minister's son, and senior leader K.N. Rajanna. While Jarkioli played down the meeting as routine get-together, Rajanna later admitted the political issue was being discussed there, making it clear that this was no casual dinner. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah stayed away, citing ill health, but the presence of his son and trusted aides is being read as a strong political signal. The timing, of course, is key. Just a week earlier, Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivkumar hosted a similar meeting, projecting his own support base. Jarkioli's dinner is now being seen as a counter show of DK's dinner meet earlier. This was a third such meeting in recent weeks, underlining growing churn within the party. Of course, we are also looking at the same time, Tumkuru Seers, at least 23 of them, are demanding Home Minister G. Parmeshwara be made the Chief Minister, citing his long organizational experience and calling for leadership from the backward communities. A third player in the game now. The Karnataka Legislative Assembly has passed a key and contentious law aimed at cracking down on hate speech and hate crimes, even as the opposition BJP warns it could be misused to silence dissent. The Hate Speech and Hate Crimes Prevention Bill 2025 has been cleared today in Karnataka's Belagavi session after a heated debate with amendments. Under the new law in Karnataka, any spoken, written, visual or online content that promotes hatred, enmity or disharmony against an individual or group will attract strict punishment. For a first offence, the punishment ranges from up to 1 to 7 years in jail along with a fine of 50,000 rupees. Repeat offenders face a minimum of 2 years in prison and a fine of up to 1 lakh. The offence has been made cognizable and non-bailable, with cases to be tried in the JMFC court. The law applies not just to individuals but also to office bearers of organizations and includes provisions for victim compensation. Presenting the bill, Home Minister G. Parmeshwara said the law provides a clear legal definition of hate speech and hate crimes and gives law enforcement stronger tools to act against content and threats that goes against communal harmony. The government says the legislation is now meant to deter inflammatory speech and prevent hate-driven violence. BJP has strongly opposed this move. Former Minister C.N. Ashwath Narayan accuses the Congress government of undermining free speech, warning that the law could be used selectively to in fact curb any kind of political dissent. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great night.
अपनी सुपर पावर यूज करने का टाइम आ गया।
आप टेंशन मत लीजिए, AIFF फाइनेंस से झटपट गोल्ड लोन लीजिए और बिजनेस